We have known that the roof on our building has been in bad shape for a long time. We knew it was in bad shape when we purchased the building back in 2017. It's hard to do it justice with the pictures here, but the current roof condition rating from a local roofer is they gave us a D- this year. And if you've been upstairs in the annex on a rainy day, if you remember last Easter, our Easter feast, I remember Bill Staley moving around the room with buckets, I think it was. Maybe it wasn't you, Bill. It was somebody was moving around, putting buckets on different tables, catching the rain coming through our roof. We've had a leaky and failing roof for many years. And we've been putting money each year towards limping our roof through the rainy season each year, which is a long season in the Northwest, most of the year. So lots of leaks and lots of issues, and we have been talking about this at our family meetings in particular for quite a few years, and a little more pointedly in the last few meetings. So for those of you who consider Union Chapel home, hopefully this doesn't come as a shock. Like, oh my goodness, our roof's in trouble? Like, you know this because we've been talking about it. And much like just being a homeowner in the Northwest, especially, roofs are things that have limited lives, but are also very important to care for and replace when it's time. And guess what? It's time. It's time for us to replace our roof. So I want to talk a little bit about what the plan is. We've decided that it's imperative for us to replace the roof this summer before we face another season of rain. And so this will include a roof over the annex. It will include a new roof over the small outbuilding over our elevator, and the roof that covers the rear portion of our building over the mezzanine, the Chapel Kids space. And it's our hope to have the roof repaired in July. That's what we're shooting for, prior to the construction that is set to begin on Main Street. And I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but they're going to tear up 10 blocks of Main Street this year. And everything from the edge of our building to the edge of the next building on the other side of the street. So all sidewalks, streets, water, electricity. Main Street's getting a massive overhaul. And so we're going to try and do this before that work begins. So it's our hope to have the roof repaired in July before all that begins. We also have one other need in our building, which is we have lighting fixtures that are deteriorating throughout the building. And we've been replacing these lighting fixtures on an as-needed basis, but we feel like it's a good time to replace all of our fixtures and switch to LED in the process, saving us some time, certainly, and some money in the future as we switch to more energy-efficient fixtures. And so, what does that mean for us? So today, I want to make you aware that we are launching what we're calling our Shelter and Light capital campaign. We thought about Raise the Roof, but there's a lot of churches that do Raise the Roof campaigns, like very non-ironically, like very seriously, and I was just like, I can't do it. So you do it, Dusty. I appreciate it. Dusty could raise the roof for us. So this is a little interesting. We've never done a capital campaign, so well, I should rephrase that. We did a short capital campaign when we went to purchase the building back in 2016. I think we had a goal of raising around $40,000 or $50,000 to help get us into the building. And so this is the most significant, kind of above and beyond fundraising effort that we've done in the life of our community. I want to talk a little bit about the need. Dave Berg, our deacon of facilities, procured a number of bids earlier this year, and we've accepted a bid from a reputable commercial roofing company. The total cost of the roof replacement will be $117,500. which that, to some of you, yeah, like, oh, that sounds like a lot. At one point, we thought there's a possibility it might cost us upwards of $250,000. So this is a bid that we were actually quite encouraged with. A lot of this has to do with the fact that we, in the process of getting our bid, realized we only have one existing roof layer, which means we can put a new roof over the existing one without having to take this one off, which keeps our costs quite a lot lower. So this number includes the work that the roofing company will do, as well as needed plumbing work, engineering work, and permitting costs, everything related to the roof. The total cost of replacing all of our existing lighting will be right at around $9,000. And as you might notice, this is actually an incredibly low estimate. This is a large building. Replace all of the lighting fixtures for $9,000. And the reason that number is low is because Paul Blaze, who's a member of our Union Chapel community, is also the owner of Guardian Electric and has given us an extremely generous quote. And he's giving us all of the materials at his cost, and then he's reduced the labor costs by 40% for us as a ministry to our community. So while the need alone was reason enough to do the electrical work, Paul's generosity plays a big part in this being really good timing for us to replace our lighting as well. So this means that the total cost of the project and our goal to raise for this campaign is actually $126,500. Now, a few people in our congregation have actually already given specifically to this project, and so we've raised $11,000 so far. That's almost 10% of the amount needed, and we still need to raise $115,000 to meet our need. We have agreed to begin this work in the summer, and our plan is to continue to raise funds for this project until it's paid off. In terms of timing, we'll need to pay the roofing company approximately 30 days after the work has been completed. And so if we have not raised enough funds at that point, we'll be taking out a loan for the remaining balance through our bank, whom we've talked to about that and gotten some information about what that would look like. But the idea is that we'll continue to raise funds until the loan has been paid off. So I just want to acknowledge, I know it might be hard to get excited about the idea of a new roof that you never see, and about LED lighting fixtures. So just a couple of quick thoughts. Something that I feel like gets said a lot is the church is not a building, it's people. And 100%. Like, if this building went away, we would still be Union Chapel, and we'd still be a people here in this place. But that doesn't mean that this building isn't a part of us and what it means for us to be us here now. This building, and our top floor especially, represents so much of the practical hospitality that our congregation shows to our community. This is a place where kids and caregivers come to play twice a month. This is a place where our youth meets weekly. This is a place where we offer space to local nonprofits to hold fundraisers of their own and to support other good work that's going on in our community. This is where we create spaces for contemplation and silence and prayer, like you can go and see today. It's where we have discussions about the books that we're reading. It's where we laugh and we gorge ourselves on chili and enjoy good conversation. And it's where we celebrate and raise a glass on Easter. And that's just scratching the surface of the way that we use this building for the work of the kingdom. So taking care of this building is a big part of our ongoing vision here at Union Chapel. Taking care of our roof affords us many years to come of using all of this building and using it in a way where we don't have to worry about putting buckets around the room in order to catch drips. Drew and Megan got married earlier this year, and during their wedding, we were literally moving plants around their ceremony, and they were very gracious in understanding the nature of our building. But we'd love to not have to do that for future newlyweds who plan on using our room. And the lighting goes hand in hand with this as well. I've already mentioned that it will save us money, but it will also bring light and refreshment to all the spaces of our building, especially the places that are starting to feel a bit drab and dark. So what is our desire? I just want to be really straightforward, because I am this morning, I should have mentioned this right from the get-go, presenting on behalf of our elder and deacon teams. We want to be really upfront about our hopes and desires. We would love to raise 100% of the funds needed for this project before we need to pay for it. We would love to avoid having to take out a loan for this project, and we think that's a realistic goal for our community. We're prepared to take out the loan, but we'd love to avoid the work and the cost of having to pay for the work in that way. If we do need to take out a loan, we'll continue to fundraise, as I said, beyond the completion of the project in order to pay it off as soon as possible and not hang on to that loan for an extended amount of time. So some of you might be wondering, is this a good time to do this project? And so I just want to answer a few of those questions, and I would say wholeheartedly yes. I already mentioned that our roof received a D- rating. We need to take care of our roof. It needs to get dealt with. And so in that sense, this is the time for us not to put it off any longer, to deal with it and get it taken care of. We also know that projects with the city tend to go on. They have great intentions about getting things done in a timely manner, as most construction projects go. But we also know that the work on Main Street could last for a really long time, and that could put us in a space where it just makes it really hard for us to think about redoing our roof in the near future. So getting this project done beforehand is really wise on our part. And then third, I would say it's also good timing because we are in good financial shape. We currently have about 4.25 months of operating costs in our reserves, which is the healthiest that we've been in years. And I want to let you know it's really never been a part of the discussion of our team to use those reserves to cover the cost of this project. And that's because we'd really love to maintain a healthy position in regard to our reserves. I feel like it's wise and pertinent for us to do that. And then the second thing that I would say is that this has been, just in a more immediate sense, this has been the strongest first quarter for our congregation in 4 years. Just show you a little chart, and we shared this at our family meeting, but this black line represents the average monthly giving for kind of compiled for 2021 through 2023. You can see it remains pretty steady, and then we tend to have a lot of giving in December. So, and that's pretty typical for churches kind of across the board to experience a lot of year-end giving, and last year was no different in that sense. And so that black line represents the averages of monthly giving, and then that kind of like peachy-colored bar graph represents what the giving has been January, February, and March for this year. And that's March with two Sundays, still to go, this Sunday and next Sunday as well. And so these are very healthy numbers for our congregation in terms of covering the monthly costs that exist for our community. And so we're in a good place to be able to kind of move out in this. Does it include an immense amount of faith that God would provide for us above and beyond these things? Yes, it does. So I want to talk a little bit about what the invitation is to you. We'd like all of us to consider, us and our households to consider how we might give towards this campaign. The replacement of our roof and the revitalizing of our lighting is not separate from the work that we do in other places of our community. It's interconnected and integrated. And so this is an invitation to each of us to have a journey in our own integration as well, as we consider how we might show generosity to our community and invest in the future of our church in this building. And it's an invitation to participate with God in his kingdom. Sometimes these mundane tasks that are filled with drudgery, the task of replacing a roof, can often just feel separated from the work of God. But we believe that God infuses all things, and that our generous giving toward a new roof and new lights is also somehow a part of a small investment in the coming of God's kingdom here. So we'd love for you to consider what it looks like to give towards this project. A few notes of detail. First, that our needs remain fixed on a monthly basis. And so we have a continuous monthly need of our budget is for $41,000 a month. And so we're asking you to consider, when you consider giving to the Shelter and Light campaign, to consider as above and beyond giving to what you might already be doing on a monthly basis, because we need to keep the lights on, and we need to keep paying our staff and doing the work that we feel called to that way. There's a number of ways that I want to make you aware of that you can give starting today. You can give through our Church Center app. So on the main page that you come to when you open up the Church Center app, you can go all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the Shelter and Light logo, and you can click on that and it goes directly to the giving page for this campaign. You can also go there through our website. If you click on Give at ucvancouver.com, you'll see a place for our general fund and for the Shelter and Light campaign. And then you can also do so in person by giving here in the Give box. We just ask that you would designate your gift either in an envelope or in the memo line to the Shelter and Light campaign. Our commitment to you is to communicate with you in our weekly email regarding our weekly progress around this. So not getting an update every month or 2 months, but trying to really keep you updated on a weekly basis as to the progress of the fundraising campaign. And then you're likely to hear more from our elder team in the coming months as we progress along. So for me personally, I'm really grateful to be a part of a community that loves this city and that's passionate about caring for it and for caring for each other. And I'm actually really excited to see, I'm excited about so much that God is doing in our community as we look forward to seeing how God moves us together to accomplish this task together and continue to invest in the work of the kingdom in this place. So that's all I have around that. Thanks for